Yeah, sure. Yeah, I won't name any names, but certainly some of the classic cautionary tales are the physician practice that didn't reduce their patient load during the week or the 2 weeks that the on-site trainer was there from the vendor. And despite our best advice, the best advice of the vendors, they were worried about productivity hit, so they reduced their patient load, to 75% versus 100%. And just thought, well, I'll just, come in and out of the training and I'll go see the patients. Inevitably, patient crises happen, some scheduling thing happens and they end up not spending nearly as much time on training, and that just ends up hurting them later. And as we point out, would you rather take well-defined, finite productivity hit, or do you just want this to bleed for a year or 2 years? And that's really the trade-off that you end up making if you don't invest in the training during the time when the vendor is there. And one of the things that we find in that 4 to 6 week look back is that that's when the clinicians appreciate how valuable that time was. Ahead of time they think, oh, it's just a week, and then they don't realize, oh no, most software vendors are not going to show up on site. So the time that they're there 5 days in a row from 8 to 5 or whatever those hours are is just gold. It is something that you absolutely have to take the most advantage of. And one of the things that we do as a service in our implementation services is make sure that they're taking most advantage of that they're not wasting time with things that they could really have an organization like us train them in advance, like how to log on to the system, how to set usernames and passwords, how to do basic administrative functions. From our perspective, you don't need the EHR vendor to do that. The EHR vendor trainers are absolutely expert in their software related to more complex things related to clinical workflow. So what we like to do is try to tee it up so that the time spent there is absolutely and completely focused on clinical workflow as it relates to when the patient is actually in front of a physician.